Hello, friends and family of St. John Paul II High School. I would like to welcome you to our State of the School. We are going to talk about where we've been, where we are, and in light of our ultimate question survey to get feedback from you guys, talk about where we're going, the vision for the future. Now, you may or may not know what it means when we have a president principal model here at St. John Paul II High School. It ultimately means that we have different roles and responsibilities. My name is Father Peter Martinez. I'm the president, and my job is to oversee the overall vision, the spiritual welfare of the school, and also the operational vitality, which includes finances. We have with us our principal, Mr. Michael Edgehill, who oversees all things academic, athletics, and also co-curricular. And so, yeah, that sounds about right. What do you think, Mr. Edgehill?
Yeah, the way I heard it spoken of a lot is, my job as the principal is more of the day-to-day operations, and the job of the president is always kind of long-term visioning and positioning of the school.
Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can see what we're talking about. The state of the school. To start off, we're going to start with the mission. In service to Jesus Christ and his church, our mission is to provide a transformational Catholic education with a diverse student body experience rooted in faith, reason, and virtue for this life and the next. The pillars of our school, the middle and high school, is faith, reason, and virtue. Everything that we do is seen through that lens in regards to spirituality, in regards to academics, and ultimately in regards to decisions that we make as faculty, as students. When we have our faith and reason in a good place, we will make good decisions for the future. In regards to the philosophy of education, I want to share this with you as well. In this ever expanding age of information through digital technologies, we believe that the ability to discern that which is of lasting value will be the most important attribute of our students for the future. The world currently offers unfiltered information like water from a geyser that is both dangerous and fails to satiate. We seek to form self-disciplined students that can drink deliberately from a discerned, thirst-quenching well of worldly information, all that is good, true, and beautiful through critical reasoning and grace. This is so important, I think, for our students, because what we really know is that there's a lot of information out there, and there's going to be a lot more information in the future. And there's so much stuff out there, both good and bad. How do we harness the good in light of the gospel? In light of being formed in relationship to Jesus Christ, with that communion, and be vessels of that goodness, that truth, and that beauty, and be able to share that with others when there's so much out there that is harmful. And ultimately, discerning that which is lasting value is the gift of wisdom, is which we hope to instill in our young people. Mr. Edgehill, anything to add to the mission or the philosophy of education?
No, I think when I think of the mission statement, of course, yes, the pillars of faith, reason, and virtue are there. I think one of the things that is of real value as well is that it's explicit that we want to have a transformational educational experience, both transformational in the spiritual sense, of course, to really transform who our students are and who they become, but also transformational in the real world sense of providing these young people an opportunity when they leave our school to be really successful in the world that is around them, because we are called to be not of the world, but we are called to be in the world. And if we want them to become leaders of this world, being able to set them up to do that, I like to say personally, one of my goals always is that we prepare our students to be successful in college. It's not just enough to get into college, because most people can do that at some level, but to actually be set up for success when they get there. And so to really transform them through that process, I think is important. And the way we can transform them is illustrated in our philosophy of education, that we can teach them to discern, to really think deeply, and to be able to discern what is right, what is good, what is true, what is beautiful. And we're able to do that in a place of grace. And that's just so wonderful.
That's well said. And I'll let you go through quick facts.
Yeah, so this year, our 2020-21 school year, our enrollment at St. John Paul II High School is 253 students, which leaves us with an average class size of around 19 students per class. As an educator, I can tell you that that's a really good place to be in. If you end up with a class size that's too small, it really limits student engagement sometimes and can give a kind of an awkward feeling, I suppose. Class sizes that are too large leave it hard for the teacher to really have a good sense of what's happening with every student in their classroom at all times. So having that average class size, and of course it's average, it's not every one, but average class size of 19 is really good and really allows us and our faculty, we like to say, to be able to call a student by name and really know who they are, and that's really valuable. For this 2020-21 school year, our tuition rate was $7,000 per student. And knowing that about 75% of our families receive some form of tuition assistance. Now, I think it's important to bring up and recognize as a school community as a whole what that means. If you look at other schools that are roughly our size or maybe slightly larger, so to look at that, I use the basis of TAPS, which is the Texas Association of Private and Parochial Schools, which governs inter-school athletics and academic competitions. So using those classifications to define what's a school our size, being our class 5A, and schools larger class 6A, when you look at them, the average Catholic high school tuition in Texas is about $16,643.13 a year. And our tuition rate is only $7,000 a year, so less than half that, which is tremendously significant when you think of what we are able to do in this school building and how we're able to do it. It's a testament to the dedication of the faculty and staff here, a testament to the dedication of the parent community on so many levels. But it speaks more so, in my opinion, to, again, our mission statement and what it is that we're trying to do and to provide a transformational education with a diverse student body experience. You know, this is not a high school that is reserved just for the economically elite. And you can see that through not just the stated tuition rate, but the amount of people that are able to receive tuition assistance to support them in that. And that's revealed also in the finances, which Father will talk about in a minute. But I think it's a really important point to underline about how special and unique St. John Paul II High School is. And we can't talk about the 2020-21 school year and talk about the state of the school without talking about the impacts that COVID-19 has had on our school. If you compare year to year, September of 2019 to September of 2020, our enrollment did drop, as did a majority of Catholic schools across the country. We saw a decrease from 292 students to 253 in a one-year period. That's obviously one of the impacts that COVID-19 has had. Some of the other impacts that COVID-19 had regarded, us changing our schedule. Previously, we had run a traditional bell schedule at school. We moved to a block schedule for this year, with Wednesdays off for teacher work, also so that classrooms and the campus could get cleaned and aired out. This was just one of the many steps that we took to try and make sure that we were mitigating the spread of COVID-19 on our campus, to try and maintain a healthy school environment so that we could have students on campus in classrooms as much as is possible. We did start online because, of many of you will recall, here in Nueces County, July and leading into August was the worst period we had insofar as COVID-19 in our community was concerned. So we did start online, but we were able to quickly transition to this hybrid model. And as of right now, our hybrid model has 65% of our students on campus with us on a daily basis when we are at school, and 35% have remained online for various reasons. Our faculty underwent a number of different, trainings, both before the school year started and during the school year, and how to best manage this kind of hybrid model that we've had to put into place this year, how to maximize time in a block period, all those kinds of things. And even with all that, we have to admit that it's just been a hard year. We have seen a notable increase in the number of students that are struggling, both academically and emotionally. With our students that are struggling emotionally, we know for a number of them, it has to do with not just the pandemic itself and the anxieties that brings, but the isolation that comes with that. That's why we do encourage every student that has had the ability to be on campus, that doesn't have to worry about a pre-existing condition for somebody in their household, or who doesn't unfortunately have responsibilities to help with their siblings, because we know some of our families are in that situation, and we understand that, and we're glad to be able to work with them where we can. But when the opportunity presents itself for a student to be on campus in our learning environment on campus, we strongly encourage that, because we have seen clearly that the online environment makes that much more difficult, and that the in-class experience is much more valuable in student success, both personally, emotionally, and also academically. And that's, again, why the steps we've taken to keep our school community healthy and keep it safe, so that we have been able to mitigate spread as much as we have, keep our classrooms open and operational, has been so important. And that management continues to go on. We're excited, of course, about the vaccine rollout nationwide, and especially how it's been going in Nueces County. But we know that we still have a lot of work to do to continue to keep our school community safe, so that our classrooms can continue to operate. And with that hope for the future that, very shortly we'll be able to return, in essence, to business as usual, but not even just business as usual, business as better, because we have a lot of ideas we're thinking about for the upcoming school year for 2021-22 that we're excited to be able to put into practice once we can clear this COVID hurdle, which we know is only going to happen once we can, mitigate and eliminate widespread.
I know we are going to continue to remain vigilant, and I'm not a superstitious person, so I'm going to go ahead and say this. We haven't had any closures due to transmissions on campus.
Yeah.
It's kind of like saying, that kicker is perfect, and then you're going to jinx him and he's not going to make the kick. But I don't believe in superstition, but I just wanted, as we continue to remain vigilant, I just want to also celebrate our success that's due to you and the leadership, the administration, and our faculty and students. And I don't know of any other school that's in that situation. I don't keep track of every school. I don't know. Did you want to share anything in regards to that?
No, it is a testament, I think, to our faculty and staff for their vigilance and their support of the health and protocols that we've asked for and insisted upon. And I think it speaks well to our parent community. I know one of the things we've asked is that if somebody in your household is feeling sick, to please stay at home, to verify that it's not COVID-19 before returning to campus. I think everybody doing their part has been able to help with this. I do think one of the things that we are blessed with on this campus that I think many of us probably have taken for granted in the past is the fact that we have an open campus grounds, the quad in the middle there. Our classrooms open up to an outdoor space. I think that has had a significant effect in the fact that fresh air is able to circulate in and out of our classrooms more easily. Our students are able to get outside into the fresh air, between every class period. Our students, when they eat lunch, most of them are eating lunch outside. I think all of those things have had just a significant beneficial impact on us being able to stay as safe and as healthy as we have been able to this year. And let's not, of course, you say we're not superstitious. Let's not also discount the power of prayer.
Yeah.
I think that's significant as well.
Just going into finances in regards to revenue, and then we'll go into expenditures afterwards. We'll see the bulk of our revenue stream coming from tuition, fees, and fundraising due to the parents. That's 1.411 million that comes in through tuition and fees. We have through our advancement efforts, gala annual funds, 71,000 through the endowment, 135,000, our diocesan subsidy, and which includes a specific subsidy for tuition assistance, thanks to the Office of Catholic Schools, 542,000, and then through grants of philanthropic organizations, 190,000. But you see how important our tuition is. It's more than half, obviously, of our revenue, and perhaps, obviously, other schools, maybe it's a larger portion of their overall finances, but it is essential, integral to our operational vitality. In regards to expenditures, Obviously, as the case in every school, wages is the largest expenditure at 1.171 million. Insurance, obviously, 300,000. Academic materials, 43,000. Athletic program, 94,000. Transportation, 36. Plant and facilities. One of the benefits of being on a large campus and having wide open spaces is also expensive to maintain. And so we do have a large expenditure for plant and facilities to maintain this beautiful 44 acres here. Administrative expenses, 213,000. And those are the finances. And we'll go next into strengths and opportunities. Mr. Etchell.
Yeah, so as Father mentioned at the outset, we did, that ultimate question survey back in the fall of this year, where we did survey the community asking what they found to be our strengths. Basically, would they recommend St. John Paul II to somebody else? Would they rate us like on a scale of 1 to 10, a 10 or a 9? And if not a 9 or 10, then why not? What would be an opportunity area that we had to grow in? And so we were able to take that information in and review it. And these are just some of the things that we found that helped to inform our thought processes throughout the fall and into the early winter months. So as far as areas of strength that were identified by people who responded to the survey, there were a lot of statements regarding the faculty is incredible. They're just surrounded by wonderful people, lots of opportunities to compete in sports. The retreat experience is amazing for the students. There's strong faith formation that happens on the campus. And again, lots of good people, the strong sense of community within our school. Now, as far as areas to improve, because anybody that is in any kind of business is always looking for an area to improve. These were some of the areas of opportunity for growth that were mentioned in the survey. Some people commented that there are limited opportunities at the school with too much emphasis on certain sports. There was a desire that we offer more electives. Somebody else commented that they would hesitate to recommend the school, and that included the academic rigor of the school. Somebody else commented they would like to see us strengthen the academic quality. An alumni offered that in their time, the arts were booming, theater, choir, and band were full. Another comment, you can see a gradual decline in academic excellence with an overwhelming increase in a focus on athletics. Other comments regard academic standards and rigor, higher student accountability, again, an emphasis on the fine arts and more opportunities for students to be creative. So we also wanted to hear from our faculty, who of course are the boots on the ground, the practitioners on a daily basis of our academic program. What did they think were our strengths and opportunities, and what kind of goals did they have for our school community? So we heard from the parents, we heard from the alumni, we heard from the students, we wanted to hear from the faculty as well. And so we sat down together in November and went through kind of a goal setting session where we talked about, what are the desires we have as a school? One of which was a desire to create a welcoming for our students and an orientation for students upon their entrance so that students can embrace the mission of our school and to be able to accompany them throughout their career with guidance and support. Another goal that the faculty has set is that we would provide constant faith modeling from the adults on campus and exposure to the sacraments in order to form students who desire to know and practice the faith and internalize it. And then the third goal that the faculty identified was they wanted to teach and develop students who can think deeply, possess research skills, and demonstrate good communication skills.
In regards to just the strength and opportunities, I just want to say the transparency is refreshing. We think when things are brought to the light, we're better for it. No person is perfect, no school is perfect, but if you don't recognize where you are, there's no way to get to where you need to be. And first is recognition of where you are, and then making plans, realistic plans to be where you need to be. So, the transparency, the insight, the input from those who fill out the survey, it was wonderful.
And so, we had the opportunity then to take all of that information in from all of our different stakeholders and constituent groups and take it in the light of what's our mission, what is our philosophy of education, And therefore, where do we go from here knowing that? And so over a few months, we were able to formulate a plan for the future of St. John Paul II High School. And so very glad to have the opportunity to share that plan and that vision with you now. And it really does focus on those areas that we saw as opportunities for growth in academics and the arts. So in the future, what we are moving towards at St. John Paul II High School is we'll be bringing in a unique curriculum. We're revising our curriculum right now and focusing on a classically inspired curriculum. And what that really means, you can see it kind of detailed there, is being intentional about trying to integrate the humanities, specifically social studies and English. Because if we want to teach students how to think deeply, one way to do that is to be able to offer more depth in the classroom and require them to think more deeply about things. But to be able to do so, you can't cover as many things if you want to go to, you can't go a mile wide and an inch deep. So you have to kind of narrow things down and focus your attention on fewer things so that you have the opportunity to go deeper in study. And that will help develop those deep and critical thinking skills that obviously are a desire of all of us. Part of teaching students how to think will include a revision to the 9th grade speech course. So every freshman is going to take speech in the future years, either in the fall semester or the spring semester. And in that course, there'll be a specific beginning that is 2 to 3 weeks in just instruction in what is formal logic, just being able to identify ways of thinking and patterns of thinking. I want to spend more time in our math classrooms focusing on proofs and theory. A lot of mathematical instruction tends to be kind of just, here's a formula, plug and chug, let's go. And so we want to teach students how to think deeply through things. So be able to even think through mathematics, thinking through proofs and theory of why, math operates in the way that it is and the way that it does. And then in the natural sciences, focus even more on, laboratory experimentation and field study, that experiential element that actually causes a student and supports a student to think through something scientifically. To support that curricular approach and that curricular model, we'll be introducing new methods of instruction and assessment into our classrooms. Again, focusing next year really with the incoming 9th graders and building out from there, but also integrating it into the other grade levels as we can. Really wanting to focus on these metacognition skills, teaching students how to think about their own thinking. I really believe that in the future, as we go back to that philosophy of education, the world of information is just coming at you and it's just getting more broad. How do you know what's good? How do you know what's true? How do you know what's beautiful? How do you discern those things? You have to be able to really think about the information that is presented to you. And so how do we teach students to think about their own thinking, to recognize that, and to think deeply about things? We'll be able to do that through incorporating instructional strategies such as the use of Socratic circles and seminar discussions in our classrooms more robustly. And our assessment methods really focusing on written and verbal communication skills, research skills, evidence-based writing. I like to think now whether our students, when they graduate from here, whether they choose to go to an Ivy League college or whether they choose to go straight into a profession, either way, the ability to think well and think deeply about things and to communicate their ideas out, that's what's going to serve them well. That's going to allow them to be successful in a classroom at Yale, should they, qualify and be able to go there. But that's also going to allow them to be successful in the work environment if they, choose to work in one of the petrochemical industries that we have here in Corpus Christi. Thinking and communication are going to be key to the success of these students in the years in the future. In addition, one of the areas that we saw as an opportunity was that desire for more extracurricular opportunities in the arts. And so we want to resurrect that. That's if you look back at the history of John Paul II High School, it's something that was a presence here and was a robust presence here that unfortunately, due to circumstances over time, has been reduced, but we really want to put an emphasis on bringing that back and making that robust again. So we're looking at next year, clearly we're going to have band and art, which we, currently have, more robust with the dance. We're going to try and bring back, or we're going to bring back choir and guitar classes and opportunities for our students. We currently have photography, want to keep that going. And we have plans in the future to bring in and resurrect, a theater program and possibly even incorporate a class in digital media studies, which could be a great opportunity for kids as well.
Yeah, the beautiful thing is we have the space for all of those things. We have it's hand in hand in regards to what we have to offer, and it's part of our tradition. What I love about this, and this, in light of the input that we received from the Ultimate Question survey, is that it really speaks to our current culture. When we talk about the philosophy of education in an inundation of information, what's the consequence of that? Is that young people and older people, our attention spans are shorter. There's just so much stuff out there. We go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, the new bright shiny object. We're looking and we're finding it, and so the ability to discern, to go deep, it's lost. And this is something I think uniquely a classically inspired curriculum combats that kind of danger that comes in a modern culture, and also that danger that comes with relativism. And so I really love this, and also offering the performing and visual arts. I think it's a beautiful thing, beautiful thing. So ultimately, the state of our school is strong. We're strong spiritually, we're strong academically, we're strong fiscally. Does that mean we're satisfied? No, no. But through this year, with the unique challenges through a pandemic, we were hit hard, and our foundation is strong. Our people are strong. We are blessed, and we want to continue to grow in that blessing that God has given to us, because we know that there's so many more blessings in the future for our family. In light of the pandemic, we will emerge even stronger. We're in a great position for growth in the future, because what we have to offer and the vision that we are laying out is something that specifically helps young people today to become the best version of themselves in light of a world that it's difficult to do so. So we have this inspirational vision, and we want to share it with others. We want to expand, and we wanted to share this state of the school with you to let you know where we are, that we've heard you. We heard what you want us to hear, and in light of that, we are laying out the future of success for our school. And yeah, many blessings in store. Mr. Edgehill, anything to recap?
No, I just want to say, first of all, thank you to all of you who've taken the time to view this and to take it in. I hope it's been helpful and beneficial to you. The one thing I would ask is that if you see this and that gets you, excited about the future of John Paul II High School, please share that. We want as many people as we can to join us in this mission and be a part of this, not to serve ourselves and feel good about ourselves and that, like, oh, we have, like everybody wants to be a part of this, but because it's part of our mission of evangelization to spread the gospel to as many people as is possible, because the more students we can get in the door to educate and form them academically and spiritually, they become fathers and mothers who have children. And that's how the faith has been spread forever and how it will continue to be spread.
Yeah, from generation to generation, we are just simply trying to be an assistance to the parents to help them in the formation of their child. And every school wants you to be successful, but the difference between a Catholic school and any school is that we want you to also know who you are and where you're going. I like to use the analogy of a plane on a runway taking off, and every school wants you to take off into the sky of life, so to speak. But it's not enough just to get in the sky and to have success for the sake of success. You have to know where you're going, and that takes wisdom. That takes a moral compass to know that we are children of God, and ultimately our job is not only to get to heaven, but to bring as many people with us as possible. And that is through evangelization, and no more effective way to evangelize than through Catholic education. Well, thank you guys for listening to our State of the School. May you all be blessed. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.